Hey guys, I thought I'd jump on here and get you guys updated as to where we are. We haven't posted a video in a while. The last two videos I did, they were more motivational, inspirational videos. We haven't really been anywhere going out or going to places, so we really haven't had any content. But it's been a couple of rough months, and I just feel like right now the world is upside down. I feel like this whole thing with Afghanistan, we left that place in a rush and it was a disaster. We've got the wildfires out in California that are running rampant. We've got Hurricane Ida that hit Louisiana, and everybody down there is suffering. I can't even imagine how you have to put up with that, especially with the heat down there. And then you had the floods in New York and New Jersey, which I'm from New York, and it was really odd to see that because I've never seen that my whole life, something like that happen, especially in those parts. And then we're still dealing with COVID. And where we are right now, we've been staying with my brother and his wife, and COVID is ravaging this area here. There's so many people that have gotten COVID, including us. We got COVID about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't get it that bad. My brother and his wife got it. His wife got it first, and then we all got COVID after that. And I didn't get it too bad. I had fever. I lost my scent. My bones were achy, my body was achy, but I was still functional, and we just stayed inside the house and didn't go out for those 2 weeks. But Gina, on the other hand, she didn't handle it very well, and she got really sick towards the end here. One night she wasn't able to breathe, and that really worried me because that's one thing that you don't want to hear or you don't want to see. And so she was having a hard time, and I can see she was on the downside of it. So I called the hospital because we had gotten the vaccine, but I think right when she got the vaccine is when she already had COVID. So maybe those two reactions, she wasn't reacting well to it. And we got the Moderna, so we only had the first shot. But towards the end, this was happening. She wasn't being able to breathe. So I called her doctor, and he told me that I needed to take her like right away, like right now, to the emergency room. That wasn't good. So that really scared me, and I got in the car and got her dressed, and she was really, really weak, and I brought her to the hospital. And I have to say, that was the hardest thing for me to do. It was really emotional because once you take that person there, once I took her there and dropped her off, I wasn't able to go inside with her. I just was able to put her in a wheelchair and hand her off and tell her that I loved her and that everything is going to be okay. Now, we all say that, but we don't know if things are going to turn out the way that they should. So I was really, really worried, and just to see her having to go through it by herself was really emotional for me. And I just had to hope that she was in good hands right now, because there's nothing else that we could have done for her being at the house. So she's been in there for a couple of days, and she's actually getting better. They gave her some antivirus fluid, and they took her blood. They took some blood samples, and they gave her medicine. And one of her lungs was really bad. It had a lot of fluid in it, and that's why she was having so much problems breathing. So they took really good care of her, and she's doing a lot better now. And I can't tell you what it was like to hear her voice again. I didn't give her her phone because I didn't want her to worry too much about all the stuff that she had to think about while she was in there. But when she called me and I heard her voice, that was such a relief. And she sounded a lot better. And this was like a day after. So she's doing a lot better now, and they've got it to a point where they feel comfortable that she's going to be okay. COVID is a real tricky thing. You never know how that can turn so quickly. So we're just hoping that everything stays the way it is. She was telling me that there is a guy in there that's 47 years old, and he's been in there for about 2 weeks, and he was doing really good in the beginning. And today they had to call his wife and tell her to make arrangements because they didn't think that he was going to make it. So that's how fast things can turn. So I'm glad that everything is going well now, and that hopefully she'll be home tomorrow. It's a big relief for me to know that she's okay and that she's coming back home. Gina is my life, and I can't imagine living life without her. We've done so much together, as you can see in our videos. But cross my fingers, and I hope that everything turns out okay. And if you guys can keep her in your thoughts, I would really appreciate it. So the other thing that I wanted to mention was that me and Gina just recently got married. We had such a beautiful wedding. We were surrounded by friends and family, and Gina looked so gorgeous walking down that aisle in her wedding dress. I had a really big smile on my face. It was such a joyous day, and then to have this happen was such a turnaround. So getting back to the van, we bought this GMC Savannah 2500, and I've talked about it a little bit in previous videos, and I've really never really caught up on where we are with this. But we have been here in Georgia, and I started on the van over at my brother-in-law's house. I've been working on the van there, and I did a lot of things to it, which I'll show you in just a moment. But I worked on it there for a couple of weeks, and then this van needed a new door as well as a new bumper. I went ahead and bought the bumper, and I also got the door through a salvage that was located in Florida. So I tried to put things together, and my friend Mike has an auto shop over there that he does body work. And I figured, well, I can go get the car door, and I can take the van to him, and he can do all the body work that needed to be done, replacing the bumper, replacing the door. And I had some dings on the van, and also some places that needed touch up as far as paint. So Mike did a fantastic job beyond what his scope of work on this van should have been, and he did a lot for me, and the van came out beautiful. I just love it. But I also needed to finish the bed as well as a wall that we were building as a garage separation in the van. So my friend Earl and his wife Jen, they let me work on the van in their backyard, which I am so grateful. It was a really nice setup, but it was so hot in Florida. I'm from Florida, and I totally forgot how hot it can get down there. So they let me use their backyard, and I finished the bed as well as the wall down there. And I was down there for 2 weeks. So when I got back home is when we ended up getting COVID. But let me show you around, and right now it's still a mess. It's still a work in progress, but I'll show you what we've done so far. So this is the van. It's a GMC Savannah 2500. And we've done a lot of work to it, mechanically and cosmetically. and it's looking pretty sharp. So one of the first things that I did was paint the rims. I painted the hubcap as well as the lugs, and it came out pretty nice. Alright, so let's take a look and take a little tour of the van, see if we can get up here. It's a little dirty right now, but we've got 200 watts of solar. I installed that, as well as the ceiling fan. I installed the canopy, and so far I'm really pleased with it. There's a couple things that I don't like, but we'll get into that later on down the road. I installed shore power into the van, and I'll explain what that is. I mean, it's really simple, but a lot of people don't really get it. Basically, if I'm over, or if we're over at a campground, then you can have electricity. You just plug electricity in there, and then you have an extension cord here, and it's just like any regular outlet. You can plug stuff into it and you have electricity. Okay, as you can see, I don't have that much light in here, but this is the bed frame that I installed, and basically what it's going to do, it's going to be able to go up, and then we'll have the storage underneath. I still have to install the hydraulics on that to make it easy for it to go up. So this is the electrical box that I built, and this is actually the third one that I put together. And a lot of times when you do stuff on paper, it all looks great, but once you put it up, it doesn't work. For example, this is where all the electrical parts are. I had the box here, but what's happening is that when I'm trying to lift up the bed, it's obstructing the bed from being lifted. So I've got to remove it from here and bring it up to the top. So basically I've got to redo the whole thing. Alright guys, so the one thing I've got to say about doing a van build is that it's been really hard and really difficult, but very satisfying at the same time. And I say hard and difficult because to a guy like myself who knows nothing about this, I've really had to learn as I go along, and also watch a lot of damn YouTube videos. I finished my control box yesterday. This is going to control all the electrical inside the van, and it came out pretty damn cool. I did the casing out of wood. I went ahead and stained it. My brother Michael did the faceplate. He did that off a 3D printer. Those things are amazing, and that came out awesome. This little unit right here is what controls all the on and off, and I can connect up to at least 5 different things. This has a 12 volt plug-in. It also has a voltage reader, and we went ahead and put a little cubby here so we can put the phones and keys in there. And this right here, if you open it up, it's got a USB so we can power up the phones. I wanted to make sure that it was nice and clean, so I didn't want any wires showing. I've got all the wiring behind the wall, and I think it came out really cool. The only thing I've got hooked on to that right now is my ceiling fan as well as my puck lights. And check this out, guys. This right here is where you control the lighting, and it's touch sensored, so all you do is hit the button to turn it off, hit it again to turn it back on. It also has a dimmer, and you just slide it down to bring the lights down, slide it up to bring the lights up. Pretty cool. So we decided to do the wall with the shiplap material, and as I was saying, we finished up the wall in the back, and that separates the garage from the front, and it's made out of different types of material, and that material in the middle is made out of just wood floor planks that I put together. And I love the saying that I put on there. It says, "Not all who wander are lost." Our ceiling came out really nice. We've got our ceiling fan installed. We've got our puck lights installed. I did some crossbars to hold up the ceiling, and we installed that with some screws, and then we put some decorative caps to make it look nice. We've got this little cabinet that we put together, and I really like it. It's got a couple of drawers here, And what we're planning on doing is creating a hole here and putting a little sink in there. We've got a 5-gallon jug in there, and that's gonna supply the water. It's a little smaller than what I was thinking, so I'm going to do something else to it to make it look a little bit bigger, and we'll have a little bit more space on top. So I'm just going to get a bigger piece of wood to put on top, and that'll give us a little bit more space. So as you can see here, we put our wood floor in, and it's really solid. I didn't put too much underneath it because the wood is pretty thick, and I love it. I think it came out great. Can't really see too much. I've got so much junk on top of it right now, but that's our wood floor. So these are our curtains, and we had these specially made. I took it to this lady that's a seamstress, and if you see, if you look at it on one side, it's very decorative. It's got a nice design, but if you turn it over to the other side, it's just a solid color. So when people are seeing it from the front, can't really tell that somebody's inside the van. And this cooler here, I made it into a swamp cooler, and I'm going to show you a little video of what I did and how it works. A while back I did a DIY video on how to make a swamp cooler AC unit. We still have that unit and it works just fine. This time around I wanted to do something different. I wanted the cooler to have less parts and also for it to be more efficient. So I came up with the Swamp Cooler 2.0. This thing is fantastic and is so easy to put together, guys. Let me show you what I did. I went ahead and bought a fan blower off of Amazon for $16.99. It's got a speed controller. I bought the cooler at Walmart for $17. I made a hole in the lid, packed it with ice, and it is ready to go. The difference between this one and the old one would push all the air in and then bring it out of a tube. This one pushes or sucks all the air out and brings it out through here. Let's go ahead and turn it on and see what it sounds like. Now this is on high, and there's so much air coming out of there and it feels so good. I've had it on medium and high throughout the night, and I filled this up with ice, and I still have plenty of ice left over the next day. This works fantastic. I am so happy with this. I put this little sticker on both sides here, and really this is the first time that's ever happened, but when I was drilling, I drilled a hole that came right through here. So I went ahead and covered it up, but I figured I put a sticker on there and it makes it less noticeable. So let me show you what was done to the van on the outside. My friend Mike went ahead and painted the bumper in the back. This bumper wasn't bad at all, so we just decided to keep the bumper. He did all the little nicks that it had on the van. He kind of painted here and put some touch up here. I didn't really want to do the whole van, so he just did what he could to make it look presentable, and he did a really good job. I am really pleased with it. This is the bumper that we had to replace, and I got that off of eBay or I think Amazon for $300. He got the bumper and he also painted it. And this is the door. So the door had a big dent in it, so we replaced the whole door, and it looks like it's brand new. While I had it over at Mike's, the guy next to him does upholstery, so I asked him to go ahead and do the lining on this because it was already coming off, and he did a really nice job. That cost me $175. So before I went down to Florida, I got the radio installed in this van. I took out the old radio and put a new radio in. I took it down to Best Buy. I bought all the parts separately. I spent about $120 for the radio, $70 for the backup camera, and it cost me $200 for them to install. So let me show you what we did back here. We created some garage space, as well as installing a wall to separate the front and the back. And this is the wall here. It's really solid. I got it connected with some brackets. We've got a 100 amp gel battery from Renogy, as well as the solar charge controller. And I had everything hooked up, everything works. I had to unplug everything because I had to redo the electrical box. This little button here is what controls the lights back here. And we've got 2 puck lights up on the ceiling. This flooring, we made it out of wood as well as vinyl planks. And then we have a small table here that pulls out. And this comes out a lot more, but I've got a car in back of me, so I don't have the space to pull it all the way out. But this is great if we want to try to cook something outside. If we don't want to cook inside the van, we can bring it outdoors. So I've got this covered up right now with cardboard so nobody can see in, but I'm going to take it to a graphics place and get some vinyl on it. Alright guys, so I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for coming back. I hope this catches you up as to where we are. Sorry for the mess in the van. I wanted to show you guys what we've done so far, and I'm really happy and really satisfied as to what I've been able to accomplish with the van. I don't know anything about van building. I did a small van build on the Transit, but that was nothing compared to what I've been doing here. There's been a lot of trial and error, but I'm really happy with what we've done, and hopefully we'll finish it all up and we'll be able to do a van tour so you can see the final results. Things are not as they should be right now, but I know that this country will turn around and we'll have better times. Our plan is, and the reason we got this van was because we wanted to buy an RV and we needed something to pull the RV, so that's why we got the van. We were thinking maybe of on getting a 28 or 30 footer, but since we're building this van out, we're only going to do a 19 or 18 or 19 foot RV. And what we want to do is we want to travel like we did before, but instead of bouncing around from place to place, we want to stay in places 14 to 30 days at a time. Gina needs good Wi-Fi so she can continue working, and we still want to travel, so we were trying to figure out how we can still do that. And this is our plan, this is our goal. So that's where we're at, and that's what we plan on doing. So we'll bring you guys some more videos. Thank you so much again, and guys, please be safe out there. COVID is no joke, and it's nothing to be taken lightly. I know you hear that all the time, but it only takes that one moment when you catch COVID. And the thing with COVID, that it reacts to everybody so differently, so you never know what the turnout's going to be. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next video. Hey guys, if you enjoy watching our videos, please consider subscribing to our channel. Also, hit that notification bell and you will be notified when we post future videos. Give those fingers some exercise and hit that like button. That lets us know that you like and enjoy our videos. Also, leave a comment. We're here 24/7. We'd love to hear from you.